life can be tough for data protection professionals, but I very much welcome you being here. I hope that you have all had a wonderful evening yesterday at a dazzling concert show and gala dinner, and I'm sure you agree that our Albanian hosts deserve great thanks for their hospitality and for their whole performance indeed. And speaking of hospitality, every visitor to this country will be impressed by its long and eventful history, by the enormous progress in recent years, and by the ambition to do even better in the near future. I very much like the logo chosen for this conference. We've seen this, a combination of tradition and innovation on a calm sea. I hope that will be the case indeed. I have attended this conference for many years, maybe even some 25 years, as a national commissioner and as a European supervisor until a few years ago. And it was a great pleasure to see you all back in excellent shape. And indeed, speaking of progress, this conference has made an enormous progress over the years. I've seen it grow in size, in depth, increasing impact, and at the closed session, this conference adopted a strategy policy. Increasingly, it is getting its act together. An impressive list of important resolutions, and that is all great. Now, I've had the pleasure to have been co-chairing the Program Advisory Committee for this conference. In that role, we have supported the host authority, Commissioner Besnik Dervishi and his team, in the task to develop the program for this open session. And I can only say that it's been a very smooth and pleasant cooperation. So at this point, I also want to thank the other members of the committee from various parts of the world for their input and their availability for teleconferences at sometimes difficult hours and conditions which were not always perfect. But we've accomplished our task. Thanks also to the staff at the Permanent Secretariat of the conference, which is ongoing, has worked very hard for its excellent support. That was all great. So we quickly reached a consensus that this conference should be about global standards, about raising global standards for data protection in the digital age, and that convergence and connectivity would work well with this focus. Because in the end, it is all about bringing us together and making us all more effective as privacy and data protection community. So yesterday, we've taken a closer look at global convergence in data protection law, at global privacy challenge of data-driven business models, and at data protection and competition as possibly converging areas for digital regulation. And we've heard words like data surveillance and data capitalism. We've heard abuse of market power. We've looked at data protection in the context of mergers and acquisitions, totally new subjects, and we are proceeding. We've also heard about the future dystopias. Jamie Bartlett painting a dark future, but he made it very clear this was a call to all of us to be even more effective in the near future. So today, indeed, we will be looking at future challenges for privacy professionals, both data protection authorities and data protection officers and other data protection professionals. But now, first, a look at accountability. as a global bridge to support high standards of data protection. And this is one of those interesting and promising concepts which unfortunately are not always well understood, sufficiently clear in all parts of the world, and that even among regulators from different backgrounds. That's why we will not only have a panel chaired by no one less than Andrea Jelinek, chair of the European Data Protection Board, but also a keynote speech by someone who has dealt with the subject both in data protection law and in practice, as managing director at the EDPS for a while under my close supervision, and who now has also covered the subject as editor and contributor to the forthcoming Oxford University Press commentary on the GDPR. It's an impressive volume if you see it. So you understand the work which went into this. And if you allow me a little footnote, accountability is a very relevant subject for regulators for different reasons. The point I want to make here is that DPAs need to be accountable as well for their actions, of the lack thereof, and to some extent for the outcomes they can show in dealing with all those challenges. So accountability is a very fundamental concept, and we will be looking at this closer